Hello. Welcome to our channel. Today, we will explore the genealogical account of the descendants of Adam as detailed in Genesis 5. This passage provides a bridge from the creation of humanity to the story of Noah and highlights the continuity of God's plan through generations. Join us as we delve into this fascinating genealogical record and uncover its significance. In Genesis 5 verses 1 to 20, we read, "This is the written account of Adam's family line. When God created mankind, he made them in the likeness of God. He created them male and female and blessed them. And he named them mankind when they were created. When Adam had lived 130 years, he had a son in his own likeness, in his own image, and he named him Seth. After Seth was born, Adam lived 800 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Adam lived a total of 930 years, and then he died. When Seth had lived 105 years, he became the father of Enosh. After he became the father of Enosh, Seth lived 807 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Seth lived a total of 912 years, and then he died. When Enosh had lived 90 years, he became the father of Kenan. After he became the father of Kenan, Enosh lived 815 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Enosh lived a total of 905 years, and then he died. When Kenan had lived 70 years, he became the father of Mahalalel. After he became the father of Mahalalel, Kenan lived 840 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Kenan lived a total of 910 years, and then he died. This passage emphasizes the continuity of life through generations and the importance of lineage in the unfolding of God's plan. Each name listed here represents not just an individual but a link in the chain of God's purpose for humanity. The genealogies highlight the long lifespans of these early humans, which may symbolize the vitality of creation and the close proximity to the original act of creation by God. It also underscores the idea that each generation played a role in maintaining and carrying forward the divine plan. Adam's creation in the likeness of God and his role as the progenitor of humanity establishes a foundation for understanding human dignity and worth. Being made in God's image implies that humanity is endowed with unique attributes such as rationality, morality, and the capacity for relationships. This divine image is passed down through the generations, reminding us of our inherent value and the responsibility to live in a way that reflects God's character. The birth of Seth is particularly significant because he is seen as a replacement for Abel, whom Cain killed. Seth's line is viewed as the godly line, in contrast to Cain's descendants. This distinction highlights the theme of righteousness and the importance of maintaining a faithful lineage. Seth's descendants, through Enosh, Kenan, and others, continued to call on the name of the Lord, emphasizing their devotion and faithfulness. The ages of the patriarchs listed in this genealogy also serve to connect the generations in a continuous line from Adam to Noah. These long lifespans, though difficult to comprehend by modern standards, symbolize the continuity and stability of God's plan throughout the ages. Each patriarch's life, though extensive, eventually ended in death, pointing to the reality of human mortality introduced by the fall. As we continue in Genesis 5 verses 21 to 32, we read about some of the notable patriarchs. When Mahalalel had lived 65 years, he became the father of Jared. After he became the father of Jared, Mahalalel lived 830 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Mahalalel lived a total of 895 years, and then he died. When Jared had lived 162 years, he became the father of Enoch. After he became the father of Enoch, Jared lived 800 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Jared lived a total of 962 years, and then he died. When Enoch had lived 65 years, he became the father of Methuselah. After he became the father of Methuselah, Enoch walked faithfully with God 300 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Enoch lived a total of 365 years. Enoch walked faithfully with God, then he was no more, because God took him away. When Methuselah had lived 187 years, he became the father of Lamech. After he became the father of Lamech, Methuselah lived 782 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Methuselah lived a total of 969 years, and then he died. When Lamech had lived 182 years, he had a son. He named him Noah and said, "He will comfort us in the labor and painful toil of our hands caused by the ground the Lord has cursed." After Noah was born, Lamech lived 595 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Lamech lived a total of 777 years, and then he died. After Noah was 500 years old, he became the father of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The lineage leading to Noah includes remarkable figures such as Enoch, who walked faithfully with God and was taken by God without experiencing death. Methuselah, known for his long lifespan, and Lamech, who prophesied about his son Noah, are also significant. This genealogy underscores the faithfulness of these patriarchs and the unfolding of God's promises through their lives. Enoch's unique experience of being taken by God without dying sets him apart in the genealogy. His life is a testament to the possibility of intimate fellowship with God. Enoch's faithfulness and close relationship with God serve as an example for future generations, highlighting the importance of walking faithfully with the divine. His story encourages believers to strive for a deep and personal relationship with God. Methuselah's long life, the longest recorded in the Bible, symbolizes endurance and the continuation of God's plan through the ages. His lifespan connects the early patriarchs with the impending flood, showing that God's timeline and purposes extend beyond human understanding. Methuselah's name, which some scholars interpret to mean, "his death shall bring," hints at the timing of the flood, as he died the year the flood began. Lamech's prophecy about Noah brings a sense of hope and anticipation. Naming his son Noah, which means rest or comfort, Lamech foresaw that Noah would bring relief from the curse on the ground caused by Adam's sin. This prophecy foreshadows Noah's role in God's plan to preserve humanity and renew creation through the flood. It highlights the continuity of God's redemptive purposes across generations. Noah's birth marks a turning point in the genealogy, as his life and actions would lead to the preservation of humanity and the establishment of a new covenant with God. Noah's faithfulness and obedience set the stage for God's plan to cleanse the earth and start anew. His lineage, through his sons Shem, Ham, and Japheth, would repopulate the earth and continue the unfolding of God's promises. The genealogies in Genesis serve several important purposes. First, they establish the historical continuity of God's creation and covenant promises. By tracing the lineage from Adam to Noah, the Bible highlights the unbroken line of faith and God's ongoing relationship with humanity. This continuity assures believers that God's plan is steadfast and enduring, despite the challenges and changes that occur over time. Second, genealogies provide a sense of identity and belonging. They remind us that we are part of a larger story, connected to the faithful who came before us. This connection can inspire us to live faithfully and carry forward the legacy of faith. Knowing our spiritual heritage encourages us to honor the past and contribute to the future, recognizing that our actions have a lasting impact. Third, genealogies emphasize the importance of each individual in God's plan. Every name listed in these genealogies represents a life that contributed to the unfolding of God's purposes. This reminds us that our lives, too, have significance and that we are part of God's grand design. Each person's unique contributions and experiences add to the richness of the overall narrative, showing that everyone has a role to play in God's plan. Finally, the genealogies point to the fulfillment of God's promises. The lineage from Adam to Noah sets the stage for the coming of the flood and the establishment of a new covenant with humanity. It also foreshadows the eventual coming of Jesus Christ, who is traced back to these same patriarchs, fulfilling God's promise of redemption. The genealogies highlight the consistency and faithfulness of God in bringing His promises to fruition. In the broader biblical context, genealogies also serve to validate historical events and figures. By providing detailed records of ancestry, the Bible establishes the authenticity and reliability of its accounts. This historical grounding helps readers to trust in the accuracy and truth of the Scriptures. Moreover, genealogies illustrate the inclusivity of God's plan. The diverse backgrounds and experiences of the individuals listed demonstrate that God's purposes encompass all people, regardless of their circumstances. This inclusivity is further emphasized in the New Testament, where Jesus' genealogy includes figures from various walks of life, highlighting the universal scope of God's redemption. In summary, the genealogical account of the descendants of Adam in Genesis 5 teaches us about the continuity of God's plan, the importance of lineage, and the significance of each individual's life in the unfolding of God's purposes. By understanding our place in this grand narrative, we can find inspiration and purpose in our own lives. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel, like, and share it with your friends. See you in the next video.